tech expert and owner of a tech support company called Integral out of Kansas City. But I'm not here today to brag about my company and what we've done. I'm here to show you 6 smart tips to help keep your mobile devices connected and secure. And that's important because firms like your own are going more and more mobile. Everyone wants to be able to sit at home and work on work material or be able to go to the local coffee shop because it's so instantly available. We can also do business from our smartphones, which is awesome. I know I love it. I can run my whole business from my smartphone, and it's so darn incredible. I love the fact that I don't have to have overhead in order to run a company, and technology has made life beautiful. But beware, there are cyber criminals and hackers that want to get your information. They're sitting in coffee shops. They're obviously sending out spam email, trying to get your company data. You definitely don't want that to happen. So before you decide that you want to go and set up a mobile office or have staff that works mobile, you've got to have a good starting point, a springboard, to make sure that you're going in the right direction. Now, I will say that I am recording this presentation, so if you have questions and don't want to be on camera, don't be on camera, or don't ask a question. You can come sneak up and find me immediately after the presentation because I'll be around. But let's make this a loose discussion rather than me lecturing like a school teacher, because I know that there are so many questions when it comes to technology. So just shoot your hand up and I'll answer your question. But before you get started with mobile working, you've got to have a good starting point. You've got to have things in place before you just go out and start running your business from anywhere in the world. And it's one thing as an individual, if you're checking email or surfing on social media, then you can just go to the local coffee shop and hop on and use the Wi-Fi. The business, you've got to protect your company data and you've got to protect your client data. So there are steps that you need to take. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you have the right mobile technology, because not every device is designed to be mobile, right? Even though it's a laptop, doesn't mean it's going to be a laptop that's good for business. The brands that we've seen the most performance out of as far as mobile technology, as far as laptops, are Apple and Dell. And you want to get business class computers because they hold up to being more durable than that laptop that you're going to get at Walmart or from Office Depot. Those computers, minus the Apple, so let's just say those Windows computers are designed for home users. They're not designed to put up with the durability of being pulled or put in and pulled out of a laptop bag. They're not designed to be accidentally dropped. The whole purpose of your Walmart laptops and your Office Depot laptops is for you to break it so that you can go out and buy another device. So my recommendation, if you go at Apple, you get a nice titanium, strong, sturdy case that you can use that's going to be able to put up with the in and out and the day-to-day operation of running a law firm. Or get a Dell computer, because Dell makes a sturdy computer that will last for a long time. In fact, most of the computers that we get that we recycle are going to be Dells. Dells just put up with the wear and tear. If you get an HP or a Lenovo or another brand of computer, you'll see small stuff wear out, like hinges, laptop hinges, monitors will go, parts will disconnect automatically. So you want to focus on Apple and Dell as far as a sturdy computer. Now, you can go to Walmart and go to Office Depot and get a computer, but trust me, it's not going to last as long, and you're going to be much happier if you get something that is going to last a long time. And realistically, to be honest with you, as far as laptops are concerned, whether it be Apple or Dell, you probably should look to be getting 8 to 10 years use out of the computer. If you're not, and you find yourself going through laptops over and over again, then obviously you're buying the wrong brand of laptop. Processor is very important in a computer. You want to make sure that you buy an Intel processor. That processor or brain of the computer is more compatible with all the software packages that you would use in your firm, as opposed to AMD, which is another manufacturer manufacturer out there. The processor that you want to get, and I goofed up and covered it up with that banner, is the Intel Core i7 processor. That is the business class of processor. And Intel offers three. You got an i3, you got an i5, and you've got an i7. But the i7 is the Cadillac, or I should say the Ferrari of computer processors. So if you want to be able to run your firm and have things respond when you click on that mouse button, Windows or Macintosh, get an i7 processor. Now, I don't have a slide for this, but as far as RAM is concerned in your laptop, make sure that you're running at least 16 gigabytes of RAM or more in your laptop for business class. Now, you can have smaller amounts if you're running it for home or just casual use, but if you're using it for business use and you want it to last a long time, get an i7 with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and you're going to get a laptop that's going to last a long time. Now, what about your mobile devices? I know there's attorneys out there that maybe do stuff mobilely. Apple or Samsung are the brands of smartphones and tablets that you want to get. Obviously, there's LG and there's other brands of Android smartphones, but Samsung is the top of the line Android smartphone on the market. So if you're using if you want to run your business from your smartphone, Apple or Samsung, those devices have the most support as far as apps are concerned, and your Samsung and your Apple devices offer the most durability as far as stuff not falling apart. Now keep in mind, these smartphones aren't going to protect you if you drop your phone in the toilet or if you drop it out of your hand. Obviously that stuff's not covered, but as far as having a device, if you take care of it, that's going to last a long time, Samsung and Apple are the devices that you want to get. The other thing that you want to do if you run your business mobile, you got a law firm and you want to take customer calls, you do not want to give out your cell phone number. Instead, you would want to register your firm with either a voice over IP service like, oh gosh, I forget the company that's outside as a vendor, but they offer that service as far as voice over IP. You could also set up a business. I've heard of firms doing this before, setting up a business phone with Magic Jack or WhatsApp or even Google Voice. Those services allow you to create a number that is exclusive to your business. The challenge with using a cell phone in your firm is that there's a lot of cell phone theft that is going on. Criminals are able to look up cellular numbers, and once they get your number, they can figure out which provider your phone number's with, then they can act like they're from your provider and scam you out of services. So they could say that there's a problem with your account, they need your credentials. If you're in a rush, if you're doing stuff in your firm, you may accidentally give out these credentials, then the criminals will call the cell phone company and either A, order the latest iPhone, or B, they may add on an extra line, and if you're not paying attention to your cell phone bill, some cyber criminals using your cell phone, using a different number on your cell phone account, running up charges that you may not be aware of because your firm has automatic withdrawal as far as your account's concerned, or they may only need it for a month, but then you're stuck with this large bill because someone had authorization to get to your cell phone account. So stop using your cell phone for your firm's business. Sign up for one of the free or paid services and use that number instead. One of the bonuses of using a voice over IP service, even like Google Voice, you can make business calls directly from your smartphone, but when you call your clients or whoever, it's giving the number of that phone service through Google Voice as opposed to giving out your personal cell phone number. And also, as far as cell phone usage is concerned, you want to take a break from your business. I know there are firms out there that, maybe you've got convicts that are serving time and, they don't care what time of the day it is when they call and they want to talk to their attorney. So you want to have that break. And if you have a solo firm, definitely keep that cell phone number close at hand because you don't want it to get out there. There are so many cyber crimes that can occur with cell phones being used out there. A cloud printer is great, especially with all the legal documents that are great. For those of you who don't know, a cloud printer is basically a wireless printer that you can email a document to and then it'll print out at your office or your home office. HP, Canon, Epson all make cloud-based printers, and they have the little cloud logo on it. But once you get this printer hooked up, either in your home office or in your law firm, you can set it up where you can create an email address. So if you have a document or documents that you want to print remotely, you can use the cloud printer to send those documents to, and then those documents will be waiting for you when you get back into your home office or into your law firm. But a cloud printer is a good option to have. Next is cloud storage, and we'll talk about this more in detail a little bit later, but cloud storage is a good option to have. So if you've got a Dropbox account, Google Drive, or a OneDrive account, it's a good thing to have, just so that if there's documents that you want to access remotely, you can put those into your OneDrive account or your Dropbox and then have access to them immediately. But as far as the overall usage of those devices, we'll go into more detail so that you're using them properly. So the first major step that you want to take before you go mobile is to back up your data and set your computer or your smartphone on a backup system that's automatic. There's a lot of stuff that can happen when you're porting your laptop and your smartphones around. You can drop them, you can get a virus or ransomware on your device, and if you don't have a backup, then those documents that you have for your firm are going to be lost forever. I know many of you probably have seen CSI where the guys and they are able to retrieve the data. It doesn't work that way in the real world, people. You've got to back up your data. If your files are encrypted with ransomware, even if you send it off to a data recovery center, there is no way to get that information back. So you've got to back up. And there's multiple ways to back up, and I will usually do a show of hands how many people have backed up today, but we're not going to do that because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But there's two ways to back up. Or actually three. You can back up to an external hard drive. So if you're using a Windows computer or a Macintosh computer, you've got backup software built in. Windows users have file history that's built into Windows 10. It will automatically back up your stuff to an external hard drive, provided it's plugged into the computer, right? Apple users have the option of using Time Machine, which will make incremental backups of your Mac. So if something catastrophic happens, like your Mac is stolen, you can retrieve your files by buying a new Mac and hooking your external hard drive into your computer. You can use NAS, or a Network Access Storage Device, to back up your stuff. Now NAS is basically a humongous hard drive that you would install either in your home office or in your firm that allows you to have your devices automatically back up to it. When I say large, most NAS devices start minimum at 4 gigabytes worth of data, which, that's a lot of law documents. But you can also set up a NAS as a cloud backup service where if you had files that you wanted to access and you didn't want to use a quote-unquote paid or free cloud service like Dropbox or OneDrive, you could set up the NAS to automatically share your information over the internet only for you, so that you have some cloud storage that allows you to access those legal documents from wherever you are. Now my favorite form of backup, well, there's file history, and then there's Time Machine for the Mac. But my all-time favorite backup is cloud backup for all devices. Cloud backup offers automatic redundancy, which is what you don't get when you're using OneDrive, Dropbox, or Google Drive. If you store a document to OneDrive, what happens is it stays on your computer, but there's a copy in the cloud too. If your computer gets infected with a virus, or let's just say you have a malicious employee, or even say a malicious spouse that decides, I'm going to ruin that guy or gal, they can just go into your documents on OneDrive, Dropbox, or Google Drive and delete everything. And there's no way to retrieve that stuff unless you have a backup of that stuff. But with a cloud backup service, what happens is that once you install the cloud backup service on your laptop or on your smart device, it's constantly backing up your information and giving you redundancy. So if you come across a malware attack, then your information is safe in the cloud, because Carbonite, which is one of the companies that I recommend, and Backblaze will have multiple copies across the globe on different server farms of your information. So if something catastrophic happens to your laptop, you can just say, well, I need to buy a new laptop, but all my data is safe, because with Carbonite and with Backblaze, that information is stored safely and there's redundancy. And with cloud backup, it's backing your stuff constantly. As soon as your computer hits the internet, boom, it's backing up your information. So if you haven't installed Carbonite or Backblaze on your laptops and you're wanting to work mobile, you need to install it immediately, because one of the most calls that we get as far as come out and help us fix our computer are, I lost my data. And so you don't want to be put in a situation where you cannot retrieve your data. So get a cloud backup system and get it today. Because if you rely on trying to have it back up to a NAS or back up to an external hard drive, you're not going to do it. You're not going to take that external hard drive out of the drawer and plug it in every time that you open up your laptop and work. The way you work may be sporadic. Maybe you're working on your laptop every few minutes. And if you have a cloud backup system in place, then those few minutes are crucial because it's backing up your information automatically. You've got peace of mind. Now, as far as price is concerned, Carbonite is $70 a year for unlimited backup. $70 for unlimited backup of your data. You can, I think most of you can afford that. Same thing with Backblaze. Now they do monthly. You pay $5 a month. Well, actually, I think it's $5.99, but it equals out to the same price. It's rather than being billed annually, you're billed monthly. But the same thing, it automatically will back up your stuff, and it's available for everything. And the good thing about having information with Carbonite or Backblaze, let's say your computer is stolen. You can log on to any other computer around the globe and access your information so that way you're not out of work. And when you're working mobile, that's one of your goals. You want to be able to work all the time, even in the face of catastrophic failure or device failure. So people back up. If you listen to only one slide or one part of this presentation, back up your data, please. All right, so mobile device backup is a little bit different because there isn't really any redundancy, but there is things that you can do. With mobile device backup, you can enable iCloud for your iPhone, or you can enable Google Drive for your Google device. Now, iCloud backup service is like Google Drive backup service, where it'll take a copy of your information off of your iPhone and store it in the cloud. I think there's Android backup, and I think there's iPhone backup. But we'll go with iOS backup. It'll back up your information and it'll store it on the cloud, but the challenge is that if something catastrophic happens to the cloud backup, there's no redundancy. So what you can do instead is work with a two-pronged approach, and this works with both iOS devices, so we can get that to go back, and Android devices. So what you can do is you can install the app, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, whatever you're using on your smart device, and start backing up stuff there. Now, if you have a laptop that is also connected with a Dropbox, OneDrive account, then you can install Carbonite on that laptop, and then the items on your smart device are being backed up automatically to a redundant backup. So that way, if something happens to your cloud storage service, you'll always have a backup with Carbonite. But if you are using an iPhone or an Android device and you're getting that message that's saying, I'm out of space, you might as well just go ahead and pay the money to Google and Apple, because there's no way around it, and you do want to have some sort of backup on your mobile devices. So I would recommend paying the 99 cents or whatever Apple wants, and I think it's the same amount for Google. So yeah, make sure your smart devices are being backed up. So number two is you want to be sure to password protect all your devices and encrypt them. Most people will use passwords, which is fine, but if your laptop winds up into the hands of someone like myself, very easy to bypass that password and get access to that information. So that's where encryption comes in. So I think we all know the rules with passwords, what makes a good password, 8 to 16 characters, etc., etc. But what you could use in order to make all of those account login passwords easier to use is to use a passphrase. So you could use something like Stinky Banana 1969, or Dirty Camaro 2010, but passphrases are easy for people to remember as opposed to coming up with just a random set of numbers and characters, because passphrases flow out of our minds and our tongues a lot easier. So I would highly recommend using passphrases. managers. And if you really struggle with passwords, one of the best utilities you can use to keep all of those account passwords safe is a password manager system like either LastPass and Dashlane. Now, both of these services are free and they go across all of your apps. And the beauty about a password manager is if you're trying to log into multiple online accounts while you're working mobile in your law firm, you can download these apps, and so whenever you get to, let's say you're using Clio in your firm, then you can just go to the Clio website, it'll automatically log in, and then you're in. If you want to keep track of your banking information, or say you're using QuickBooks Online to keep track of your books, you can just go with LastPass or Dashlane on your device, and it'll automatically sign you in. So that way you don't have to worry about your pesky passwords. Obviously, if you're going to use a password manager software, you got to make sure that your master password is a strong one. You don't want to use Spot, or I'm a lawyer, or I went to law school and graduated, 1975. So you've got to make it a hard to use password, but password managers are a good utility to help you remember all those passwords. And it's a good thing to make sure that your laptops and your smartphones are password protected too. Now, data encryption works a lot different than password does. What happens with data encryption is that it scrambles up all your data on your phone or on your laptop, and then you have to use a key or password to get into your encrypted device. And encryption is pretty simple with Windows and Macintosh devices. I gotta hit the right button. Okay, so for Windows, and if you're using BitLocker for Windows 10, you have to make sure to get the encryption that you're using Windows 10 Professional. This goes back to what I was talking about earlier about buying your laptop from Walmart or Office Depot. Most of the laptops that are sold at those office supply stores are for home use, and they do not come with Windows 10 Professional. They come with Windows 10 Home. So if you get a Windows 10 laptop and you want to make sure you enable encryption, you get a Windows 10 Professional laptop. Now, encryption is important because let's say someone steals your laptop and they yank out the storage device of a hard drive and they're trying to see what's on there. If your hard drive on your Windows or your Macintosh computer is encrypted, then even if someone takes the hard drive out, they still won't be able to see what's on there because they don't have the key. So if you're working mobile, you need to make sure all your devices are encrypted. So that way if your device gets stolen, then no one will be able to get your data. If you use a Mac in your firm, you can use FileVault, which is built in. And with Macintosh software or operating systems, there is no Mac OS Home or Professional. It's just all the same. So it doesn't matter if you pick up your Mac at Micro Center or any other of the computer stores. It's just going to have one version of Mac OS on it, but it's got the encryption built in. As far as protecting your iOS devices with encryption, pretty simple. All you have to do is put a password on it. That's it. Once you put a password on your iOS device, it's encrypted. With like the San Bernardino shooter, the FBI wasn't able to get into that device because it was encrypted. So they were trying to find somebody who was able to decrypt that data. So if you haven't put a password on your smartphone, if you're working mobile, you have more of an incentive to do it now because you know if you lose your smart device, no one's going to be able to get into it. Same thing with your Android device. It's just a matter of putting a password on your Android device and your data is encrypted. Now, in some older Android devices, you do have to go into settings and you have to turn on encryption, but newer devices, it's just a matter of putting a pin or doing a little draw thing with my finger or your finger, and it'll automatically encrypt that device. And it's important because we all keep our banking and other stuff on our smart devices, like our phones and tablets, so do it. Number 3 is you want to use encrypted email as well. If you're sending sensitive documents to clients, you just don't want to send it out. And I know there's many smaller and solo firms that are using free email services, like I know an attorney, and luckily he's not here. He uses AOL for email. And there may be somebody out in the audience, I won't rat you out, but it's okay. You can use AOL for email for your firm. The challenge is if you've got sensitive documents, since it's a community, sort of email community, you want to make sure that those emails go out secure. Now, if you have a domain for your firm or for yourself, you don't have to worry about it as much. because your domain is going to keep you safer than using a public email platform like Google or AOL or Outlook. So there's several programs you can use. You can use Hushmail. And so if you're a loan entrepreneur running a loan firm, Hushmail would be the utility that you could use in order to keep your email safe and encrypted. If you're using Gmail or Google Mail, there's Save Gmail, which is a plugin that works with Google Chrome, which is beautiful. Download the program or the plugin. It allows you to go through and send out encrypted mails. Nlock is an app and a page service that allows you to send encrypted email from any device. So it doesn't matter if you're using an iPhone or an Android, Apple or Windows computer. If you get Nlock, it will allow you to send out encrypted email. And it's a small fee per month to use the encryption service. I think it's like $9 a month, which is worth it if you're sending out sensitive data. Now, as far as encrypting email in iOS, it's built in. Once you put your email settings in your iPhone, it automatically has the option of encrypting that email. So there's no extra thing that you need to do in order to encrypt your email, other than to go to settings and tell it to encrypt your email. You Android users out there, unfortunately, you would have to download a service like Encrypt if you want to be able to send out encrypted emails from your Android device. Android just does not have encryption built in. Yes, sir?
What problem, though? Don't you have to get your client or your opposing counsel to use the same encryption methodology?
What happened? The question was, is if you use one of these encrypted services, don't you have to get your client or what was the other term you used?
Opposing counsel. Opposing
counsel to use the service. With these services, it'll send a key that allows them to unlock the email. So that's why it's easier to use these services rather than going into like Outlook. Because you can encrypt email in Outlook, but there's just a bunch of hoops that you have to go through in order to get the email encrypted. So these services work a lot better because it's almost like if you sent someone a file from your Dropbox account and they don't have to log into your Dropbox in order to get access to that file. They can just click on it and then it'll go through the process of allowing you to open it up. Same thing with with those three services there. So, all right. So number 4 is public Wi-Fi, and we're all guilty of that, right? Who uses public Wi-Fi? Come on. There's one person up front. There's everyone like that. And because we all know it's a no-no, right? But it's so tempting because it's free, right? You can drive down the street, hop at McDonald's and Starbucks, which I will say, if you had to choose between McDonald's and Starbucks, which one you think has the best Wi-Fi? Starbucks? Anyone said McDonald's? Well, Starbucks is right, because normally they offer Google for their Wi-Fi service. But the challenge with public Wi-Fi is that once you connect to a Wi-Fi, you're basically joining a larger network of computers. And so it just makes your device more susceptible for someone to hacking into your device. Also, there are hackers, especially if you go to larger public places, that will set up fake Wi-Fi networks that you can accidentally click on. Because if you're like me, and this is bad coming from the tech guy, if you see free Wi-Fi, you're immediately pulling out your phone going, I want to save data. And which is sad is because I have an unlimited data plan. So why am I hacking on Wi-Fi, right? It's stupid. It's stupid. But anyway, I'm tempted to do it. I'm like, no, I don't want to use my data. So I connect to the public Wi-Fi and use it, and it puts you at risk. But there's several things that you can do to make sure that you stay safe when you're going to Starbucks or wherever. So the first thing you want to do, because I know in most firms this happens, you have file sharing on. File sharing is a process in both Windows and Macintosh computers where if you want your partner to get access to your files on your laptop, or maybe the legal or the paralegal or your law clerk wants to have access to your files when you have your laptop in the office. You got to make sure it's turned off. Now, by default, if you've never used file sharing in your firm, you don't have to worry about this. But if you think that you've used file sharing, you want to make sure it's off before you start working remotely or connecting to public Wi-Fi, because if file sharing is turned on, all it takes is for someone to see that your file sharing is on. It doesn't matter if it's a Windows or a Macintosh device, they can just log in and start taking your files or looking at them. It's just that simple. Because remember, when you're on Wi-Fi, you're part of the larger network. So I don't know how many people connected to the Wi-Fi here, but you're part of the larger network. So luckily this is a chiropractic college and not a technology college, because I'm sure there would be a host of hackers in all our devices, right? Because I connected my smartphone to the public Wi-Fi here too, and my laptop, so I would be at risk. But make sure file sharing is turned off, because that's important, and I know a lot of firms do that. Number two is you want to activate your device's firewall. Firewall is built in to Windows and Macintosh computers. Now, for some instances, you may have to turn it off. I know QuickBooks sometimes will make you do that. So if you're using the desktop version of QuickBooks in your firm, you might want to make sure that the firewall is turned on your laptop before you take off. And speaking of firewall, I'll ask this question: how many people are using Norton antivirus or McAfee or Kaspersky in their firm? I know there's more of you that are doing it. I see the one gentleman out there. You, and I'm going to get shot by the IT gods for saying this, but you can definitely take off those extra programs like Kaspersky or Norton, because it's built in to the operating system. You don't need redundancy. And if you're working on your laptop in your firm, you're protected by the firewall provided by your internet provider or by your router. But when you're out and about, as long as you've got your firewall turned on your laptop, whether it be a Windows or a Macintosh laptop, you're protected. You're protected, so you don't have to install that extra software, which is just bogging down your computer in the first place. So if you've got a slow computer, you got Norton, or Kaspersky, or ESET, or any of the other packages out there, take them off. It's what's slowing down your device, and of course with mobile devices, you want it to run as quickly and streamlined as possible. A VPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. Creates a tunnel if you're on that public Wi-Fi that keeps your information out of the eyes of prying folks. One of the best VPNs to use out there is a VPN software called TunnelBear. And TunnelBear is not free. You pay a minimum fee, like $10 a month. But what you would do, when you would use TunnelBear is if you have to use public Wi-Fi. So if you go to Starbucks, you're like, man, I've got to use this free Wi-Fi. Install a VPN software like TunnelBear, and it'll keep your devices protected. VPN software is so powerful, it'll even mask your location. So sometimes you have to be careful, because if you use TunnelBear or other VPN software, it'll falsely report that you're over in Europe. And if you visit a popular website that's smart enough to find you based on location, you may start to see websites appear in Russian, or in French, or even in Chinese or Japanese. So you can enable the North America settings within any VPN, but VPN software is really powerful, and if you want to keep your firm safe while working mobile, get TunnelBear or get some VPN software that's available. But the best protection when you're out in the public and you want to be connected is to get either a hotspot or a mobile router. The reason being is because a mobile hotspot has a direct connection between your computer and your cellular computer. So I've got to ask, so who uses Sprint as far as phone service? There's like a few hands. What about Verizon users? AT&T? T-Mobile? A few. So hackers would have to infiltrate those cellular networks in order to get access to your data, which is a Herculean task. It would almost be like breaking into, and I've got to choose the right company because there have been so many data breaches out there, right? It would be almost like breaking into Amazon. I'm sure Amazon's like Fort Knox because they have so much information available. So they've got a team of people just looking at that stuff. Same thing with your cellular provider. They're making sure no one's getting into their network, and when you get a call in, it's a signal directly from your smartphone to your cellular provider. Same thing with a hotspot. And for those of you who may not know what a mobile hotspot is, because I can't assume, a mobile hotspot is basically a device that sends out a wireless signal that you can connect your smartphone, your smartphone and any other devices. With a cellular hotspot, you can connect up to 8 devices. If you've got a mobile router, you can connect up to 20 devices, basically running a small office. When I mean devices, computers, smartphones, printers, you can hook them up to either a cellular hotspot or a mobile router. But as far as the internet is concerned, it's only a one-way signal between the devices connected to the hotspot and your cellular provider. So it keeps you safe and secure. You never have to worry about anyone seeing your information when you're working on a mobile hotspot. And that is the best option. Obviously, a hotspot may not be in everyone's budget because mobile hotspot uses cellular data. So if you've got that limited data plan, maybe using a VPN would be the way to go. Now, as far as public Wi-Fi is concerned, one of the jokes that I make about if you absolutely have to use public Wi-Fi, the best place to go is your public library. What hacker is hanging out at the library, right, trying to infiltrate someone's information? Usually the people that are using Wi-Fi at the library are retired folks, excuse me, that are using the computers that are already in the library. So if you have to use it, go to your local library. I mean, you probably will be the only attorney there using the Wi-Fi, because I know when I have to use it, I'm like the only business person sitting at the Wi-Fi at the library. And most Wi-Fi at libraries is fast, but it definitely puts you at less of a risk if you go to a more public or more established area where people are constantly using Wi-Fi and where cyber criminals are actually able to target people. Because cyber criminals are setting up fake Wi-Fi hotspots in areas that are highly populated, but they're also popular locations that people are going to gravitate to. Library is just not the place you're going to go to use Wi-Fi. So if you have to use it, go to the library. And finally, and this is the other joke today, if you use a hotspot, make sure, especially from your smartphone, make sure you turn it off. Turn it off, because basically you're allowing someone to get free internet when you're walking around with your hotspot. And the other challenge is that if you've got limited data, then someone's utilizing your data. If you use a hotspot, like you would your router in your office or your home, you do want to make sure that you put a password on your hotspot signal, because like a Wi-Fi signal, a hacker can definitely get in there, not necessarily steal information, but use up your data. So turn off your hotspot and make sure that if you do set up a hotspot, that it's password protected so that anyone can't jump on it. So you need to make sure that you update your devices on a regular basis. I know it's a pain in the butt. You know, you do a presentation and I've had this happen. You turn on your laptop and then it starts doing Windows updates, right? Mac is not so intrusive, but Windows, that's horrible. I'm sure you left the office or you're wanting to get off your laptop, you go to turn it off and then there's like 40 minutes worth of updates before you can do it. But you've got to keep your devices updated, because most software companies have what's called a bug bounty. Are anyone familiar with that at all? Bug bounty? So bug bounty is kind of a secret thing between computer savvy folks that like to hack and the software companies. So they put a bug bounty out on Windows and they put one on Macintosh and smartphones and tablets. And the goal is for the hacker to be able to get in to the device or to find out what security flaws are in the device. So if a hacker finds a security flaw and it's confirmed by Microsoft or Apple, then that hacker gets a bounty. And bounties are pretty large. They can be $5,000, $10,000. So pretty big deal, right? So once the flaw is discovered in your software, Microsoft or Apple will issue an update for that device. And so that's why you have different security updates come through, because it's not the team at Microsoft. They're working on other stuff. It's some hacker that's like trying to break into the system and they found a breach. And so your company, OS company, Apple or Microsoft, is trying to breach it. So you want to download those updates because something has been exploited within the software. The other thing you want to make sure that you're having too before you work remotely is that you have current operating system software. So if you're going to work remotely and make sure that you're protected and you're using a Windows computer, you've got to be able to use Windows 10. Windows 10 Professional. But Windows 10 is getting the most current updates from Microsoft. So if there's a security flaw or they're trying to protect you from some virus, Microsoft's got you covered because they're downloading an update. But only if you're using the latest Microsoft operating system out there. So if you're trying to run around and work mobile using Windows XP or Windows 7, even Windows 7, which is about to come to end of life, or if you're using Windows 8, those operating systems I do not recommend that you would work remotely with, because they don't have the latest and greatest updates. Windows 10 does, and those updates usually come down on Update Tuesday. Now, if you're a Mac user, and Mac's horrible because Microsoft is so lenient as far as letting you use old operating system. Windows 7 came out in 2009, and in 10 years they usually put it to bed. So in 2019, the end of life of Windows 7 is coming. Microsoft's lenient. Apple, not so much. So the latest operating system for Mac OS is Mojave. And with Apple, if you don't have Mojave on your Mac, you ain't supported. Those updates end the day that Mojave hits the market. So if you're using a Mac in your law firm, get Mojave and get it immediately. But the other thing that you need to worry about with Apple as well is Microsoft Office. So if you're using Microsoft Office in your firm and you have an older version of Office on your Mac, you need to make sure before you download that update, because there's no going back, that you have the latest, that your Office will work with the latest version of Macintosh software. Same thing with any other products that you would use in your firm. You want to confirm before you update your operating system to make sure that it's going to work. Going back to Windows 7, or Windows 10, same thing. Before you get that new computer, decide, well, I want to work mobile, I want to make sure my stuff's working. Make sure that your current software is going to work with Windows 10 before you rush out and buy a laptop, because I know that happens quite a bit. Going forward, as far as your software programs, you want to make sure that they stay up to date too. I know a lot of firms use Microsoft Office, and I will say this, and I know attorneys are slow to update, and that's okay. I mean, I don't blame you. Office ain't cheap. So what's supported as far as Office by Microsoft now is Office 2010, 2013, 2016, and of course Microsoft Office 365. Those are the most current versions, and those are the ones that you should be using in your firm. If you're using Office 2007 or Office 2003, you put your firm at risk from viruses. The other thing you want to make sure is that you keep up with your smartphones. So there's updates for your iOS and for your Android devices. So if you have an Apple device, the latest iOS is iOS 12. So if your phone can't get it, it's time for a new phone. If you haven't downloaded the update for your Apple phone, you need to download that immediately. And I always draw a blank on Android because I'm not an Android user, but I believe the latest version of Android operating system is, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, is it Apple Pie or am I off? Oh well, we'll just go with Apple Pie because it sounds good. But yeah, you want to make sure that your smartphones and tablets are up to date before you start working mobile, because once again, those hackers are making sure that there's bugs not in the software, and there's a bug bounty. So whenever you get an update for your smartphone and your computer, it's making sure that you get the latest patch for your operating system. Apple computers have malware protection built into it. So Mac users out there, you don't have to buy any extra stuff. You Windows computer users out there, Windows Defender, which used to suck, but is so awesome now. So any of that other stuff you've got on there, like Norton Kaspersky, you can get rid of it and just use the built-in Windows Defender in Windows 10. Windows 10, so if you got 7, you don't have Defender. But if you got Windows 10, you can use Defender and it's built in and it'll protect you from all the viruses out there. Yes?
Yeah, you talked about Windows 7. I have 7 Professional.
Yes.
I'm going to have to switch soon.
So the question was, is this gentleman is using Windows 7 in his firm, and he's asking, does he need to switch soon? Yes, because Microsoft is going to stop support with Windows 7 in 2019 or 2020. End of life is, excuse me?
2020 is what the latest update I got was. And it's going to have update, they're going to be able to apply it up through 2022, but that may change also.
Okay,
If
so what the,
anything, it'll go longer.
what the gentleman over here said is that Microsoft is supporting Windows up through Windows 7 through 2020. So you're on the 2-year countdown to your software not getting the security updates that you want. So yes, in 2 years you probably will have to switch from Windows 7 to Windows 10. But as far as antivirus software, let's address that real quick. As far as Windows 7 users are concerned, if you're still using 7, you may have to keep that Norton because you don't have Windows Defender. So, but as far as antivirus software, if you're using Windows 7 or Windows 8, get only the antivirus portion of your package. If you see like Norton Security Suite, you can just go away from that and just get like, say, Norton Antivirus or Kaspersky Antivirus only, or ESET Non32 Antivirus. And obviously, and I haven't talked about this, stay away from the free antivirus. I know AVG may be tempting, Avast may be tempting. You do not want to use free antivirus software in your firm. And then finally, you got to stop being negligent with your laptops and stuff, because obviously all attorneys drink coffee with their laptop, right? No. But I mean, accidents happen. But if you back up, it doesn't matter what you do to your laptop. So you can spill stuff on it, you can have it stolen, but if it's backed up, you don't have to worry about that. But yes, stop negligence. So the things that you don't want to do with your laptop or your mobile devices, you don't want to get it stolen, right? Who wants their mobile device stolen, right? No one. So in order to retrieve your device, if you're going to use it mobilely, turn on the feature that's built into your iPhone and your Android phones. So iPhone users have Find My iPhone, and Android users have Find My Device. Turn them on. They actually work. They work. We have customers that have lost smart devices and have called up local authority, and we're able to guide them directly to where their device is. And the good thing about Find My Device and Find My iOS device is that if you lose your phone, you can immediately go to any computer, log on with your Google or Apple account, depending on the device, and you can locate your device because it uses GPS coordination built in. So install that on your smartphones and on your tablets. And as far as your computers are concerned, you want to make sure that you install software like Pray. And I'll go back, so it's got the guy stealing something. Pray is a good program to get. I'm sure most of you attorneys here have heard of LoJack, where you can install it on your laptop and you can track it through GPS. But you want those items installed on your smart devices so that you can find them in case of theft, because they're highly sought after items. Soft surfaces are no good for laptops unless you just want to cause a fire, right? These devices run at, I don't know, hundreds of degrees, and if you smother the cooling port on your Mac or Windows computer, or put your smartphone under your pillow because you want to cuddle up and listen to Pandora, you're asking for trouble. So keep your smart devices off the beds, off pillows, because they will blow up on you, believe it or not. And of course, if you haven't backed up your stuff, you're just screwed, right? And you're probably going to hell, too, right? I mean, because Jesus saves, and so do smart attorneys that use mobile technology, right? Remember that. And so if you're not saved, what happens? You go to hell. So back up your stuff and make sure your device is safe. So same thing with laptops. You don't want them on soft surfaces. You want to keep your devices out of extreme temperatures. So it may be tempting to leave your laptop in a car when it's like 30 below, or when it's like 110 degrees outside. You're actually shortening the life of your device. So don't do it. Bring it in out. Today's a good day to, if you want your laptop to chill or your smartphone to chill in the front seat while you're in here, today's the day to do it. But a couple of months from now, you want to keep your laptop on your person and your smartphone, obviously. So, and then finally, I put this in here for humor. Keep your kids away from your devices, because you never know what's going to happen. Kids, grandkids start chewing on stuff, throw it down. And then, of course, if you don't back up, then you've lost all that data, and you're going to hell too. So, I mean, you make sure you stay safe. So
And that's not the worst part. They may get in there, and if you unlock it and let them play with it, you don't know what they're going to do to you and your data.
that's true. The gentleman over here in the corner said the worst part is if you don't have your smart device password protected, your kids, grandkids, teens, tweens can get onto your devices and they can wreak havoc, because all kids at that age are concerned about playing games. and they will go anywhere to play a game on your device. And probably they're going to the place that is just, looks like game heaven, but actually it's like virus hell. And it will infect your device, and then you've got to call a company like ourselves to come delouse your device. So yes, password protected, keep it out of your kids' hands, and make sure that it's your law firm device only. So let's stay connected on social media. If you've got questions, you can come up afterwards and ask me questions, or you can connect with me at Burton Kelso on social media. I share tech tips all the time, tricks. I put informative videos out there that are designed to help you get more from the technology you use. So. Yes, we have a question?
Yeah, I have a question about that cloud backup stuff. It sounds really good, but I'm nervous about putting all of my attorney-client data on some server that exists, I don't know where.
So can I translate your question?
Digging through.
So the gentleman over here says he's got a concern about cloud backup services because he's scared to death that someone's going to get in the cloud and get his data, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and that is a legitimate concern. Now, with cloud backup services, that information is encrypted once it makes its way to the cloud. So someone could break into the computers at Carbonite or at Backblaze, and then they were able to peruse and see maybe you have account information like your name, the name of your firm phone number, but they don't actually see your files on the cloud backup system. If they were to access that data, they're just going to see gibberish. So it is encrypted. And they have different levels of Carbonite too for, depending on your business. They've got Carbonite and Backblaze for servers. If we were in the medical industry, they have it for HIPAA. So they've got all the bases covered. Their goal is to keep your data safe. In fact, if you have to call Carbonite for tech support, they can't get into your account because they don't even have access to your passwords. So it's a very secure system. And I know people are afraid of the cloud, but truth be told, the cloud is just someone else's computer. You want to go with reputable companies that believe in protecting your precious data, unlike Facebook, right?
That was rude.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Because I saw the cloud statement, actually, the cloud backup, external drives.
Right.
How are those in comparison to the cloud?
Look at that. That's a good question. So the question was, is the cloud external hard drive